Hey guys, here's the next part of what if Goku was in Naruto. So this I'm gonna finish it off at this part. So this is how it begins. So we see a few years of peace have taken place, and at this point now, basically what's happening now is that Naruto has become the Hokage, while Sasuke has become basically his right hand man. And Naruto's Hokage, Sasuke is the right-hand man, and at this point, Goku is basically, he decides he's not cut out for more of this leadership stuff, so he takes a bit of a role of Jiraiya, and basically, so Sasuke, what Sasuke does basically is what he does in canon, as he goes out to gather intel, which is what Jiraiya usually does. While Goku decides to spend his time actually opening a dojo and becoming a teacher, basically, because Goku wants to create really strong fighters for the Hidden Leaf. So eventually now, but even though Goku is a teacher, he's respected, like, heavily. He's actually respected. He's the number one most respected person in the whole of the Hidden Leaf, right next to Naruto and Sasuke. And on top of this, Goku also spends his time training the Ambu. So now the Ambu are much more powerful since they're being trained by Goku himself. So now what happens is, basically Naruto has his child, which is Boruto. Sasuke has his child, which is Sarada, and then Goku and Ino actually have a child, and in this scenario, Goku names his child Gohan, just for consistency reasons, I guess. So now what happens is, they basically live in peace for a while, and all three of them try keeping up their training to some extent, but their work hinders them from maximizing all the training they could be doing. So what happens now is, the Chunin exams are beginning to take place, and around the same time, all Goku, Naruto, and Sasuke's children have grown up to some degree, and they're old enough to take these exams to become ninja. So what happens now is basically, their kids start training for this, while at the same time, around 3 alien figures land on planet Earth as they step out of space pods. As now we see one of them called Momoshiki, the other one called Kinshiki, and next to them a man with a lot of hair and a tail from his back, whose name is Raditz, as they have come to first of all retrieve the chakra fruits, and on top of this, Raditz has also come to retrieve his brother. As now, what happens is they set out for each of their missions. So now, as this exam is going to happen, basically as the tournament for these exams are happening, Boruto ends up. If you guys have seen Boruto, you know what happens basically. So what happens is that scientific ninja tools are not allowed, and these tools basically give people the abilities of ninjas, but then it's just a mechanical tool, so it's seen as a cheat basically. So what happens now is Boruto gets convinced to use this ninja tool, since Boruto isn't confident in his abilities basically. So what happens then is Naruto catches Boruto doing this, and Boruto is disqualified, I guess. So I'm gonna get into this fight because I think this fight is gonna be quite interesting, as it's Boruto versus Gohan. So this is how it begins. Gohan was born decently weak for his age, and people did not fully think he would have a lot of potential in him. Until one day, basically, some people were bullying a random friend of his, and Gohan got angry, and this rage caused his power to skyrocket. as he then headbutts the bullies, and basically these bullies get like injured, like really injured because of that. And Gohan's potential is then realized, and they see his abilities and possibilities of getting stronger, which leads to Ino agreeing that Gohan should be trained as well as possible. While Boruto is the same Boruto as original. He's a bit of a brat. He's not. He has quite a few techniques, but he's not as strong as he could be. And his insecurity in his own ability causes him to use cheats such as the scientific ninja tool. So what happens now is the fight between Gohan and Boruto then takes place, as basically it's a very tough battle, as Boruto and Gohan are evenly matched, like Boruto without using ninja tools and Gohan without Gohan without using his rage boost, as they're around evenly matched in power until Boruto actually starts getting the advantage, even as Boruto then starts thinking of creative techniques to use. And this angers Gohan, as Gohan thinks, I can't afford to lose, as his power then skyrockets upward, as he then gets a rage boost, and Boruto can't compete with this, until Boruto then starts using scientific ninja tools and he wins the battle. And then Naruto basically exposes Boruto for this, and basically says that his son cannot become a ninja anymore because he cheated. And this crushes Boruto. And basically, as the next fight's about to begin, we see a large object crash onto the arena. And standing on this meteor of sorts is Raditz, Uroshiki, and Momoshiki. As every ninja watching the fight then jumps up to assess what's happening, as Goku is the first one to look at the damage. As then, from the dust, we see Raditz, who smiles and says, "Hello, brother," as Goku is shocked by this, as Raditz then looks at him and walks up to him and says, "Kakarot, where is your tail?" As Goku is so confused on who this guy is and says, "Who's Kakarot? My name is Goku." As Raditz said, "What happened to you on this planet? It's like you've forgotten who you are. You're a Saiyan, Kakarot, an alien race built for combat." As Goku is shocked and says, I'm an alien? As this makes sense, as Goku realizes that he did crash, they found him in an alien pod, as this shocks Goku, and Goku is shocked by this, as Raditz says, "Join me, Kakarot, and we will take over the universe, and we will become strong." As Goku says, "I will not join you, for I know you conquer planets. Since that's the only reason you're hanging out with Otsutsuki, you wouldn't be with Otsutsuki if you weren't a planet conqueror. And I plan to protect my planet." As Raditz then says, "Suit yourself, Kakarot. We will destroy you then." As Momoshiki and Kinshiki then look at Naruto and they say, "So you are the nine-tailed Jinchuriki, we see. Well, we're gonna need you for the chakra fruit. I'm able to create a chakra fruit." As then they try to, basically what happens is they both then go against Naruto and Sasuke, while on the other hand Goku starts fighting against his brother. And what happens in both cases is that things go downhill for the fighters, basically. Raditz then says, "Goku, without your tail, you are weak. The tail is a symbol of the Saiyan's power." As he then beats up Goku, since Raditz is much more powerful than Goku is, since he's been hanging with Otsutsuki level threats on a daily basis. As then, on the other hand, the other Otsutsukis, as in canon, manage to capture Naruto, and basically they take him to this other dimension of sorts, I think, if I remember the movie correctly. So now, on the other hand, basically Goku is beaten down, as Raditz then looks at his son and says, "So this is your son, Kakarot. I can see it in his tail. Well, if you've rebuked your Saiyan powers, then I will simply raise your son to be a fighter, as he captures Gohan and puts him and takes him to the other dimension. And what happens now is we see Goku enraged by this, as Goku didn't want to use his full power of Super Saiyan because he did not want to harm the people who were in the audience, basically, so he had to hold back, which made him really annoyed. So what happens is similar to the movie. If you've seen Boruto, basically, Sasuke then decides to set out with Goku and Boruto to go save their father and to go save Gohan, which basically leads to them going to the other dimension. The reason why they sent Boruto is because Boruto unknowingly had the power of the vanishing Rasengan. So he had the power of a Rasengan that disappears from view and is still able to hit the target because basically it's invisible, so no one can see it. So what happens now is they go to the other dimension and Goku looks at Raditz and says, then Raditz looks at Goku and says, "So you've come back for more, Kakarot. We both know you're not powerful enough to defeat me." As Goku simply said, "It's funny that you think that was my full power." As Goku then says, "I haven't used this in a while, but I think it will be enough to beat you." As he then charges up and shouts out loud, as he then reaches his Super Saiyan power, shocking Raditz. And since Raditz had a scouter on, it's felt by Vegeta and Nappa, as they're both, all of them are shocked to silence. They can't even comprehend this, as they say, "What?" As Raditz then realizes how screwed he is, as Raditz then says, "Is that what I think it is? A legendary Super Saiyan form." As Vegeta says, "I've never seen anything like it. It has to be. This is the power of a Super Saiyan." As Nappa says, "Yes, that's exactly what it's described as in the myths. Yellow hair and blazing aura like fire. There's no mistaking it. That is the power of Super Saiyan." As Raditz is scared. As Goku then says, "Now I'm giving you two options. You either return my son and leave, or two, you stand here and you die." As basically Raditz knows he's in no position to fight. And Raditz is a bit of a coward, so instead of actually fighting, he then decides that there is a better way. As basically Raditz hears on the scouter from Vegeta, "Raditz, if you abandon this battle, you are a coward, and I will simply kill you if you come back without that boy." As Raditz then, with fear in his eyes, looks at Goku and charges out to fight him. And then, because this is Naruto basically, we see Goku looking at Raditz's eyes, and we see how we see the pain in Raditz's eyes. As we then see a flashback, as we go back to Raditz's childhood, and we see how he was sent to Vegeta's team, and since he was the weakest one there, he was bullied daily, called weak, and forced to get beaten up on a daily basis just to get stronger through Zenkais. And we see how Raditz had to become evil to survive, basically. As Goku thinks to himself, those were the same eyes as Sasuke, and the same eyes as me and Naruto as a child. As Goku then stops attacking Raditz and then looks at him and says, "I can see the pain in your eyes. I want to..." Then basically what happens is Goku pulls a Naruto and uses Talk no Jutsu, I guess. And then Raditz then decides that with the power of the Super Saiyan, that they have a chance against Vegeta and Nappa. As he then says to Vegeta and Nappa, I'm leaving you guys. And he says, I will no longer be your pawn or your slave. As he then crushes the scouter and throws it away. And now basically what happens is Momoshiki and Kinshiki are then laughing about how many people they killed when they came here and how much damage they caused, which led to Goku saying, don't worry, we'll just solve that with the Dragon Balls. And Naruto is angry at Goku and says, you're stupid, mate, you're stupid, as now they know about the Dragon Balls, which is sent to, because Momoshiki and Kinshiki both have scouter type things, and gets sent to the leader of them, which is Frieza. As now, what happens is, this information is relayed to Frieza, and everyone is shocked by this. And basically, Momoshiki and Kinshiki then say, you shouldn't have said that, because now Frieza will be coming. Frieza will basically go to another planet he has heard of called Planet Namek. As now Goku and Naruto have to basically set out to try and help this planet Namek, because they realize that they've accidentally doomed a whole race of aliens to death if they don't help. So basically what happens now is Raditz joins Goku's side, and basically they Raditz lets Gohan go also. While in the fight against Momoshiki and Kinshiki, Naruto and Sasuke, the same thing happens as the original, and Momoshiki absorbs Kinshiki to become super powerful, and then Naruto puts all his, basically gives Boruto a giant amount of chakra, and Boruto then does a Rasengan that vanishes and kills Momoshiki. Then Momoshiki basically, as he's about to basically die, gives a karma mark to Boruto. So basically what a karma mark is it's basically like it's something that allows a Otsutsuki to reincarnate into someone that they give the karma mark to. So Momoshiki is planning to reincarnate into Boruto, and in the meantime basically the karma mark gives the user, like the person who has the karma mark, gets like increased strength, they get the ability to absorb chakra, and like all the other abilities that an Otsutsuki would be able to do basically. So now Boruto is given the karma mark, and yeah, so the threat of the Otsutsuki is ended, and now they have to go to this planet called Planet Namek to try and help the people there. So what happens now is, since Naruto and everyone else has a good relationship with all the other villages, right? They decide to help them build a spaceship basically. So they use the technology that Raditz and Goku used before, and they improve on it to build a spaceship to Namek. And since this would have limited space, right? What happens in this scenario, right, is that only a few people are able to go to Namek, which is, in this scenario, it will be Raditz, Goku, Naruto, Sasuke, and then in this, because of the issue of the karma seal, they realize that they're gonna have to find out more about this. So they go with, they decide that they might go with Boruto also. So during this time, right, we have about, I'll say, there's a bit of a time skip, right? As Reddit then tells them that it will take Frieza and the Saiyans about give or take a year to be able to go to Planet Namek, since they're further than them. while it will only take them about 2 months to go to Planet Namek. So that means that they have 8 months to train. During these 8 months, this is when basically, if you see Boruto, right, there was another Otsutsuki long ago with Kaguya, right? The Kaguya is the Otsutsuki basically that they fought in a few parts ago. It's the first Otsutsuki they fought. So there was a second Otsutsuki that she came with named Ishiki, and she betrayed Ishiki and almost killed Ishiki, which led to Ishiki sealing himself inside a human being named Jigen. And then basically Jigen's body was growing weak and old. So Ishiki decided that he was going to reincarnate inside someone else, and this led to him putting his karma seal on a boy called Kawaki. So I'd say everything from that arc happened in around the 7 months, I guess. So that means that first of all, they find Kawaki much earlier than usual. Since remember now, everyone is buffed up really. Like Goku has Super Saiyan, there's Raditz in the team. Like I'll say the whole arc goes easier than usual. Like basically what happens is they find Kawaki first of all, and since they don't know much about the organization that Ishiki has, they let Kawaki join, like be part of Naruto's family, so Naruto can watch him as like the original. Kawaki makes friends with Boruto and Gohan and everyone, and then eventually, right, it stays the same as the original basically. Ishiki then wants Kawaki back, so he tries invading the village, which leads to Naruto and Sasuke having to fight against Ishiki. And then in this scenario, Boruto doesn't even have to get involved since there's Goku and Raditz here. So Ishiki is basically almost like very easily killed by Raditz and Goku and Naruto and Sasuke. So Boruto and Kawaki don't even have to worry. And due to this, that means that Kawaki loses his karma seal as the original so far. And since Ishiki is defeated, the only person they have to worry about now is someone called Code, who was part of Ishiki's organization and who has the potential to be as strong as Ishiki and even more powerful than him. So now basically Code is also easily defeated, since to be honest, like there's no one stopping them on planet Earth at this point. Like there's no point mentioning it because like everyone's too OP. Naruto hasn't lost Kurama because of barrier mode, since he didn't have to. They're like everything's okay now. So now the spaceship is finally completed, and it even has a training chamber where they can become stronger. But even in the 7 months, Raditz has become much more powerful, and Goku even taught him how to get the Super Saiyan technique. Raditz even unlocked Super Saiyan, and now they end up going to Planet Namek. So Planet Namek is basically similar to the usual, but just before they set out, Piccolo, Piccolo, who was basically genetically modified by Orochimaru, comes out from basically where he was for the last few years and says, "I would like to join you in your adventure, because you're going to visit my people, these Namekians, and I want to see where I came from and who I really am." As then they agree and they set off to Planet Namek. So then so it's Goku, Sasuke, Naruto, Raditz, and now Piccolo, who set out to Planet Namek. So now Piccolo, they tell Piccolo that unless they're really on the back, unless they're really like in trouble, Piccolo doesn't have to stand in and help, and Piccolo can just spend the time learning about his people, since Piccolo didn't really go there to fight anyway. He wants to know about his people. But Piccolo is still quite powerful. He's not on Goku's level or Naruto's level, but he's almost there, I would say, because he was genetically modified and all that. So now they managed to go to Planet Namek, and they basically learn about Namekians. They managed to save some Dragon Balls, and these Dragon Balls actually have the ability to revive people. The ones on planet Earth did not, since Kami didn't want people exploiting that power. So now they find out that they can even revive someone who died. They can revive up to 3 people, as Sasuke then thinks of his brother, and Naruto just thinks of Nagato, basically of reviving his sensei Jiraiya, and even reviving Nagato, who was Pain, and maybe even Conan. So basically, but he's mainly wanting to revive Jiraiya. So that's the goal for now, as Sasuke wants to revive Itachi while Goku wants to revive Jiraiya. And Goku and Naruto want to revive Jiraiya. As now, what happens now is they set off. Piccolo finds Grandmaster Guru, and Guru tells Piccolo about who he is, what the Namekians are able to do, and what the goal of Namekians are, which is to basically create hope in the universe. As Piccolo learns his purpose, as Piccolo then fully commits to being a good guy, as Grandmaster Guru then unlocks Piccolo's potential, making Piccolo one of the strongest fighters that there are at the moment. While in the meantime, basically Raditz and Goku get faced off against by the Ginyu Force. They beat the Ginyu Force easily, since Raditz knows all their tricks. And then eventually now they have to fight against Nappa and Vegeta. So Raditz takes Nappa, Goku takes Vegeta. Because I don't have that much time at the moment, I'll go through this fight quite quickly. So what happens now is Raditz is angry at Nappa because Nappa was the one who bullied him the most, basically. So Raditz shows Nappa his Super Saiyan transformation, as Raditz says, "I have now surpassed anything an ordinary Saiyan can do, and this is how a low-class Saiyan became even stronger than an elite." And Raditz then kills Nappa. While Vegeta then sees Goku, and they spring into battle. And Vegeta actually pushes Goku on the back foot for a while. And Vegeta is actually matching Goku Super Saiyan, which shocks Goku. And Vegeta and Goku then spring into, basically they're nearly tied. Until Goku then says, I've been thinking of a new ability, as he then remembers his Ikari power, as he then tries merging his Ikari and Super Saiyan, which leads into a much more powerful form, the Ikari Super Saiyan state. As now, he can only hold this for about 5 seconds, as Goku finishes this fight in one punch and lands. Basically, he knocks Vegeta to the ground, leaving Vegeta defeated. Vegeta then offers Goku a truce, where he tells Goku that the one who caused all of this was Frieza, as Frieza was basically was given the karma mark of the Otsutsuki, like the Otsutsuki god, basically, as Frieza has unlocked powers that no one knows the full potential of, as basically Goku is surprised by this, and he thinks of a way he could stop this, as he realizes that he's going to have to master his powers even more. Because from what Vegeta said, like Frieza used to be Super Saiyan level, now he's far beyond that, like hundreds of times. As basically they meet up with Piccolo, who's with Grandmaster Guru, and Grandmaster Guru then unlocks everyone's potential, as everyone's potential skyrockets. as they all get about a 10 times increase in their power. But this is still not enough. As Guru then decides on a risky technique, as he then decides to fuse into Piccolo, as he then realizes that the only hope they have is by using as much strength as they possibly can, as basically Guru fuses into Piccolo and so does Nail, which basically helps Piccolo becomes dramatically more powerful, like he's the most powerful one there. As Piccolo then says, I'll buy you guys some time, come up with a strategy. So all of them, basically Piccolo then gives them a book called the Namekian Book of Legends so that they can find something that could help them out. As it then leads them to something called the Fusion Dance. As what happens now is Raditz and Goku set out to learn this technique as a last-ditch effort, as they managed to learn it in about an hour or two. While in the meantime, Vegeta was told by Raditz how to unlock the Super Saiyan power, which was through rage. As Vegeta taps into his anger of being weaker than everyone else, of being beaten by Frieza, of feeling constantly weak and ostracized, as his power then skyrockets as he then unlocks Super Saiyan for himself. And since he has a potential to unlock, he feels like he's the strongest one in existence, since he can't send his power, as he then sets out his Piccolo to fight against Frieza. So Naruto and Sasuke then come and meet everyone, basically meet the Saiyans at Guru's hideout, as they spent the time gaining the Dragon Balls, and they almost had a full set. The last Dragon Ball was with Frieza. As then they are also instructed on the Fusion Dance, as then they too set out to learn this dance. As now they all come up with a strategy on how they will defeat Frieza. So now what happens now is they set out to find Frieza, as we see the most what is seen as a horrific scenario, as Vegeta is stomped out on the ground, barely moving, and so is Piccolo, as Frieza is gloating as he says, "Behold the power of an Otsutsuki and the Emperor of the galaxy." As Frieza then uses the Byakugan to see everyone's powers and says, "You guys are only about a quarter of my strength. There's nothing you can do to me." As he then knocks them down and knocks them out, as he then says, "Behold, my powers span through dimensions." As he then launches a blast that they are able to block, but what they didn't know is that he launched them in two separate dimensions. As now Goku and Naruto set out in one dimension, while Raditz and Sasuke are left on planet Namek, unsure of what happened to their friends. As Raditz and Sasuke then look at each other and say, "You know what we have to do, right?" As Sasuke said, "Yeah, I was planning to fuse with Naruto, but now you'll have to do." As they then say, "Fusion ha," as Raditz and Sasuke fuse into one being. As basically now though they say, "My name is Raditsuke." Oh no, I just came up with a name. As they now set up to fight against Frieza, as now they use the power of the Rinnegan and of Super Saiyan, and on top of this, the variety of techniques that they both have, as this is about half of Frieza's strength. So then they manage to locate the dimension where Goku and Naruto are, as Goku and Naruto then also decide to fuse, as Goku and Naruto then become Gokuto, as now they both are transported back to planet Namek, as now they're about equal with Frieza. So since fusion basically multiplies power levels, They're both dramatically, like, extremely powerful. On top of the potential unlock and the power of Super Saiyan, it's quite a big thing. And since Gotenks, even though individually both Saiyans could not do Super Saiyan 2 or Super Saiyan 3, Gotenks was able to do Super Saiyan 3. So what happened now is Goku and Raditz had been at the cusp of a new Super Saiyan transformation. As they look at each other and then they close their eyes, breathe in, breathe out, as sparks appear on their body, as they say, we call this Super Saiyan 2. As now the two fusions spring out to fight against this insurmountable task. As they both realize that they're gonna even have to go further than this. So since Raditz had his tail, Goku taught him about how to use this Ikari form, as Raditz uses the Ikari form. The issue is that since he has a tail, that makes him wilder than usual. But still, he uses the Ikari state after training 7 months with hard meditation and instruction from Goku, while Goku then uses his own Ikari state. So now, basically, the two fusions use the Super Saiyan 2 Ikari, plus the fact that one of them has Kurama and the other one has the Rinnegan and the Mangekyo Sharingan. Yeah, let's just put it this way. I would say that this is a very comparable battle in my opinion. So now, after this, Frieza is actually being put on the back foot, as Frieza then, as a last ditch attack, tries destroying the planet, but they manage to deflect this attack, as they then put in all their power, as Naruto then basically, and the fusion between Naruto and Goku then basically fully maximizes the KCM2 transformation, as the fusion between Raditz and Sasuke uses the Susanoo, as they then end this fight with the fusion of a Kamehameha, the Rasen Kamehameha, the fusion between the two techniques, and Raditz's attack mixed with the Kirin, as it then hits Frieza head on. As now in Frieza's head, we see the Otsutsuki fighting with Frieza's consciousness on what to do. As Frieza says, "How can I lose? I'm the emperor of the universe. I was the most powerful life form aside from Beerus the Destroyer. How did I lose this?" As now, Frieza gradually fades away. Bit by bit, his body gets destroyed by the blast, until eventually dust is left remaining from this fight. And now, the two fusions then diffuse as everyone's basically passes out on the ground, as they exhausted all their power just fighting against this threat. As now, when they wake up, the Namekians manage to heal them, as they thank them for their help. As now they are given the opportunity to use the Dragon Balls, as the first thing that they wish for is basically, for the first thing that they wish for all the damage that was done to planet Earth and all the people who were killed by the Otsutsuki to be revived. That was the first wish. The second wish, Sasuke then smiles and says, "I wish for my brother Itachi to be resurrected," as Itachi is brought back to life. But Sasuke then says, "I wish he's brought to life without any of his illnesses." So since basically the way these Dragon Balls can revive people who died of illness too. And then Naruto's wish is, "I wish for Jiraiya, my sensei, to be brought back to life and placed in the Hidden Leaf Village," as Jiraiya is then brought back to life and brought to the Hidden Leaf Village, as basically now they're happy. They thank the Namekians as they go back home, as now they're all happy to be reunited, with Sasuke happy to be reunited with his brother, while Goku happy to be reunited with his sensei telling him how proud he is of how far he has come, as now they live in a time of peace and happiness for a very long time, Piccolo now learning what it means to be a Namekian, then goes to Kami as they then basically make friends and they work together to bring peace upon the universe. Kami being the wisdom of the two, while Piccolo being the powerful side, as they make sure that no threats ever come towards planet Earth from outer space. As basically now the shinobi world is placed into a time of peace and prosperity, as Kawaki doesn't have to take the karma seal, as there's no one to fight anyway. Boruto basically is trained on how to control Momoshiki, and Momoshiki never actually becomes a threat because of the karma seal, and anyway they can just use the Dragon Balls or something to stop him. So this is how the series will end, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. And yeah, the next series is gonna be, as you guys voted, what if Goku was a reincarnation of Majin Buu? So hopefully you guys like it more, and I'm gonna try and make it more exciting than this one. So thanks for watching, and yeah.